gentlemen, welcome to the Post-Collision Show. It's your girl, Cresta Star. I'm joined by the ever-beautiful, ever-effervescent Iridian, but we got a special guest here who bullied me earlier, who I in turn had to bully him to show up on the show. Guns up for Phil, everyone. Bang, bang, bang. Welcome. Hi, everybody. Hi, Iridian. Hi, Phil. Welcome to our house. The two-woman power trip got a dude today.
That's crazy, right? We have a whole man joining us today. Insane.
That's not Rick.
That's not Rick.
Yeah, you gotta be careful in my city and telling people to put guns up for certain people. So relax on that a little bit. But bullying does work. I did on the way out of our episode of Grapsy. I was like, hey man, for a solid 2 months, I was like head of the Colliders Collision committee. I was like, yo, we colliding every week. And I'm just like, hey, man. And I kept looking. I'm like, hey, man, Fightful has a collision review show.
And here we are.
I'm sorry. I'm oblivious. Anytime you want to pull up, just be like, yo, where's my invite? You're going to get the link.
At one point, there were people that wanted us to move Grapsity to Sunday because they wanted us to review Collision. This was a thing.
Well, guess what, Mimi? You're getting the best of both worlds, kind of, sort of. We'll get Reg on here one night. Reg will work nights one day.
We're going to bully him into it.
We'll do it. I'll see him at the post show on Thursday. Like, yo, Reg, what are we doing? But before we get too much into it, ladies and gentlemen, if you're having a good time, go ahead and like this video. Give us a thumbs up. You can send us your thoughts with a super chat. It's somewhere around here in the YouTube land. If that doesn't work for you, pal, you can go ahead and send us a humper chat. And don't forget to subscribe to Fightful Select. It's the best $5 in the business, $54 a year. Get into it, and you're going to get the stories aggregated from us anyway. Why not just get it from the sauce? Fightful Select. Ding. Are you guys ready to cover Collision?
Sure are. Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this show opened up with a stiff match of Jon Moxley versus Shane Taylor. And god damn, that's literally the theme of this week's episode was god damn. Because every match from the word go was stiff. What I thought was going to happen was maybe Shane get a little bit of offense, but that was not the case. There was a time when Shane Taylor was trying to slap the chest hairs and the chest meat off of Jon Moxley. Lee Moriarty cheating with the pump kick on the outside. Got to give a shout out to Nigel McGuinness was on one, as always. Phil, do you keep up with Collision?
Of course I do.
So, every week, Nigel McGuinness is in here getting his yucks off. And anytime he can hate on Bryan Danielson, which he kept it to a minimum until the main event, which I was proud of him. But he said during this match, he had said something, and Tony said, I just want to make sure you aren't making things up, Nigel. Then I was like, me? No, never. I would never. We get the finish where Jon Moxley chokes out Shane Taylor in a rear choke, and he put Shane Taylor to sleepy sleep. Iridian, what did you think of this match?
You know what? This was really hot right off the bat, and I'm glad that they made it the first match of the night, right? Because you were like, oh my goodness, this is just going to be good. And the fact that, he passed out while Jon was choking him, I'm like, perfect. He looks strong. We came out looking good, 10 out of 10. And then Mox grabs the mic and all hell technically breaks loose, because even commentary is like, all right, we're going to give Jon Moxley a hot mic. I don't know if we want to do that. You're starting off the show. You just finished the match. Who knows what's going to happen? But man, I think I really enjoyed this match. Definitely hoping to see more of Shane Taylor, because I really don't know much about him, like outside of AEW and like that Ring of Honor. I'm glad that commentary did mention that he was a champion in Ring of Honor before, and just kind of his accolades. So that really helped me out. But I thought it was great. Phil, what did you think?
I thought it was great. I can see the vision in almost everything that Jon is doing now. He's slimming down more and more. He's getting in better shape. I saw the energy in that promo afterwards. That man wants to be IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. He's got a really, really good track record in the city of Chicago and winning championships. And he's going to main event Windy City Riot. It feels like this is him his entire time preparing you guys because he wants that belt.
we are going to hop and grab a super chat real quick. Starting us off right, we got James Zimmerman saying Saturday night is all right for fighting. Great show. I agree. This was a strong fight. There was a lot of lariat decapitation in this match as well. We have us another super chat from Anime Otaku saying the rankings coming back feels like good news. But is it wrong to be concerned we might see more X's in action matches since Dark is gone? I mean, I'm not gonna hold you. I personally am not a fan of ranking in professional wrestling because listen, sometimes if the storyline is there, the wins and losses don't matter. It's hey, what do you think, Phil, about wins and losses in rankings?
I'm glad the rankings are back. I'm glad that that booking philosophy is back because that was the thing that made AEW different. And so I feel like going back to like the sports-based wrestling, I think they learned their lesson with the Continental Classic, and I think that that was a step in the right direction. So man, yeah, bring them rankings back, man.
What do you think about the rankings, Iridian?
I am a fan of the rankings if they're going to mean something.
Yeah.
So that's just going to be up to AEW because they could have a bunch of wins under someone and then not give them any opportunities, and then they could have someone who is ranked really low and then give them a majority of championship pushes. So who knows if it means something? I'm all for it, but yeah, we'll see what happens with AEW.
I kept trying to tell people that they were setting people up with this with the Hook match, and people were trying to act like the Hook match didn't mean anything. And I was like, they keep mentioning his record. Why would they do that if it wasn't leading to something?
I mean, that's fair. And that's a great segue because after that, we did get the Hook versus Joe video package. And it was something that me and Phil and Reg were talking about earlier on Grab City, which you guys should go check out, by the way. Plugging Fightful on Fightful. What a novel concept. It is something that you have to put respect on Hook's name. You can't look at the record and be like, okay, Hook is a nobody. There's no way you're still saying that now after this. So if the rankings mean something, I'm totally for it. But if it doesn't, we don't need to add. All right, knock it off. I don't care. I don't care. If it don't mean nothing, don't bring it up. You know what I mean? Don't bring it up. The next match we got was the Cope Open, which I kind of hate this name. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't know why. I just kind of hate it. I don't know how to be that guy. I kind of hate the name, but it rolls off the tongue. So here we are. It was the Cope Open versus Adam Copeland versus Dante Martin. All things considered, Dante Martin didn't get squashed, so I think that was a W on my book. I was thinking, how are they going to follow up this John Moxley, Shane Taylor match? And they followed it up very well. Dante Martin giving Adam Copeland everything he has. Oh, so I just read my next note was saying, all things considered, he didn't squash, and Nigel McGuinness is a freaking hater.
Stay hating, man. Stay hating.
For free.
Stay hating. The whole time he kept bringing up Christian on commentary. Great stuff.
Honestly, I didn't hate it. What did you think about the match overall, Phil? Did you enjoy it? Did you think? Well, let me just hop to the finisher. We get the Grindhouse. I think that was called something else. Was it the Executioner before?
Yes.
Okay, so we get the Grindhouse on Dante from Adam Copeland. Overall, a good match. Phil, what are your thoughts on this match?
I thought it was great. I think Dante has been really impressive since he came back. He's not just coming out and doing the high spots. He's not just coming out and doing the flippy stuff. He's also showing other variations to his game. He looked really good. You can see he's been in the gym. He's bulked up.
Mm-hmm.
Really impressed with Dante. Very glad they're going to keep the tag feud going with Private Party as well because those guys cooked on Wednesday. So, yeah, I think the Cope Open has been a success so far. I really liked the match last week as well. I was wondering where we were going with Copeland after the loss at the last pay-per-view. And so far, so good.
Iridian, what'd you think about this? Were you surprised that Dante got as much offense in as I was?
I was not surprised. I'm a big fan of Dante, and I love Top Flight, and I was all for their pushes before, their injuries. But, as soon as I saw Dante answer this, I'm like, this is going to be a good match. I knew he was going to be flying everywhere, and I was like, oh, my God, does that mean that Adam's gonna be flying everywhere. Like he's
Mhm.
gotta like they have to find a middle ground for this. And I don't like the name, the whatever the challenge, the open challenge is, the
Cope
Copeland
open.
Open Challenge.
The Cope
I
Open.
I still call him Edge. So I'm just having a hard time still adjusting to the name change. But Dante had this really great avalanche power bomb, and I thought that was fantastic. And
Mhm.
I'm really glad that all of these young people are getting these opportunities. But then he
Yeah.
did bring it up, afterwards that he's like, it's all the young guys. But I
Yeah.
think it's really great, and I like that about AEW that they do want to focus more on their younger talent because essentially like that's their future, right? You have to
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
younger kids, and I think Dante is going to be, oh my god, the sky's the limit for him because like in 10 years could you imagine what he's going to be doing? It's going to be so
Mhm.
good. But man, yeah,
Yeah.
I thought this was a good match.
I want
Yeah.
to ask you specifically, Iridian, because we had drew this comparison earlier on Grab City, that Top Flight is more of the Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys, and Private Parties more Edge and
As
Christian
a
with their
Christian,
shenanigans. I wanted to
mhm.
ask you what you thought about that.
That's a really great comparison because, Top Flight in their name, they're high flyers. These guys are
Mhm.
quick. And Private Party is all about the vlogs, kind of the look and the comedic aspect of it. And I feel like, down the line, this could be a rivalry that is like no other. Private Party and Top Flight could go years down. People are going to be like, wow, that was just fantastic. But that's a really great comparison. I haven't even thought of that yet. That's really cool.
It is something that you could say that this is AEW's
Mm,
tag team thing, and
yeah.
not, and it'd be homegrown, and nothing against people like FTR and House of Black, but to have Top Flight and Private Party, people like a Ricky Starks, like a MJF, that's homegrown. That's, we grew it from the dirt, baby.
Yup.
We do get a post-match interview, like Iridian said, with Tony Schiavone. I love saying his name incorrectly. I'm sorry, Tony. Please don't beat me up in real life. He did mention that it was only young guys, but I don't hate that, largely because I think it gives the younger guys a platform where you can't say who the heck is Griff Garrison or who is Hook or who is Dante Martin as a singles competitor, especially when Dante had to compete as a single competitor for quite some time without his brother.
Mhm.
He also said that he's going to do what Christian said what he was going to do, outwork everyone and grind and work. He also said he was a 5-course meal and then was confused at his own line. Phil, I want to ask you, how do you feel about the post-match interview? And also, do you think that this means we're Cope open no matter what until he runs into a faction?
Yeah, I think we're gonna keep this going until he gets the rematch with Christian. I think that's where this is leading. Uh, I don't know. Maybe somebody in the Christian faction answers the Cope Open. I can see Nick Wayne possibly. The fact that it's all been young guys, I can see Nick Wayne being one of the guys that answers the challenge. And we know how Christian is about his son. Very protective of his son. So that could be the thing that gets this feud back going.
Yeah, that's a good point, Phil, that maybe Nick Wayne, also being a young talent, could also answer this Cope Open. I know later on in Collision, they announced a match for Adam Copeland later. I don't know if that's part of the challenge, but they did announce that he's going to have a match. So that's going to be interesting because that's going to be
Yeah.
with Suzuki, which,
Mm.
what even is that? That's insane, right?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
never thought I'd see the
yeah,
day Adam Copeland wrestling New Japan wrestlers. Excuse me?
could possibly be wrestling one Okada soon, maybe. But that the other part about it is they brought the ranking back. So at this point, at some point, Christian's not going to be able to say no to him anymore because if he racks up enough wins with the Open Challenge, you
Right.
got to give him his match.
Yep.
That's true. That's true. Again, it all depends. When I say I don't like it, it all depends on how they use it. If you're not going to do anything with it, if you're going to actually use it to justify things, not like, I don't know. I've been burned before, and I'm like, yeah, I don't need it. It's kind of like the 6-sided ring. It was cute, but I don't need it.
Yeah. Gotta give Copeland credit for pulling off that spear out of midair as well.
Oh my God,
Mhm.
that was
That was crazy.
beautiful. Beautiful. The way that he is able to pull spears out of nowhere, just like Randy Orton's able to RKO out of nowhere, is a thing of beauty. And that was just so good. One of the highlights of that match tonight for sure.
We're going to hop into another super chat reel here, and we're going to give it to every time your name comes up, you make my dyslexia jump right out because I keep wanting to say Orion Ben, and I'm like, is that right? I don't feel like it is, but that's what we're gonna go with today. Will Shadow watch today and went Phil agreed to come on tonight. AEW turn it up. Hi, Cresta and Iridian, Collidus Knight, STP forever. We appreciate you, Orion Ben. I still feel like I'm saying your name wrong. The D is for Lisdexia, and that's what I got.
Good night.
We're gonna go into the backstage interview with Lexi there, Claudio Castagnoli, and Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson is a bully. To me, he cooked when he said the lowest point in my career was losing to Eddie Kingston. The highest point for Eddie Kingston was when he in his career was beating me. Bro, I don't know if y'all have ever seen the Street Fighter movie, but that was M. Bison. For you, the day that M. Bison came into your life was the greatest day. It was a pivotal moment. It changed your life. For me, it was just a Tuesday. You son of a... That was so mean. But also, Claudio says something that ends up mirroring Eddie Kingston later on when he's like, why are we talking about Eddie Kingston again? I'm tired of this guy. For like 15 months, I had to talk about Eddie Kingston. And now we talking about him again. I had to hear it for 20 years. I'm sick of Eddie Kingston. He's like, yo, and also sorry, Ortiz, you're just about to get beat up. Phil, what did you think about this backstage promo?
I thought it was great. I think the fact that these guys are all still keeping the same energy. I think the fact that they all still hate each other is amazing. I think it's great that particular Claudio is just like, nope, it's all on site. And I also, this being Collision, this starting as a CM Punk show, I love the idea that you're keeping the energy, that this guy has called this guy a bum from the very beginning, and this has been a thing that continues to go on his show.
Iridian, what did you think of this backstage promo?
Man, I love the Blackpool Combat Club and Bryan Danielson, chaotic. Because not only was he talking about like, oh, that was your highlight. He was telling Eddie that, yeah, it was a good run for you. It was a great run, but a good run doesn't make you great. So I was like, damn, sir, you really got him with that one. Like, I don't know, man.
Cooking.
He was right. I know he was backstage taking his little notes. He's like, oh my God, I can't wait to say this on camera. Like, people are going to eat this up.
In the kitchen, and I'm cooking like a stir fry.
And I think Moxley too, in his promo at the end of his match, he was like, if you still want to be my friend, my coworker, my colleague, keep the hell up. So I think this was also keeping up with like the energy of Mox of like, all right, we're here to fight. You guys got to start picking up some wins, right? Because it was not looking so good. So BCC is stepping it up, and I see it here. This promo was really good.
But the other takeaway of this is the big Japan guy for all this time has been Eddie. Eddie went, got the strong championship, and he's like, all right, man, that's cool. I'm going for the main belt. Like, keep up with me. Hey, you can keep that little cute belt. I am going for the big main belt.
He said, I got other things to do.
Since we're talking about a bunch of big belts, I want to get into this Humper chat from Tony P saying, Tony Khan heard the 2023 slander and said, okay, time to bless you fuckers for real with possibly Monet, Okada, rankings, your new favorite woman from West Africa. I mean, come on, she was cooking tonight. And I will throw in Suzuki versus Copeland for shits and giggles. I will say, even I, you know me, I always tweet at 9:20. Here comes a women's match. Yo, they got me, gal. It was 8:42 this time. They got me, gal.
I was about to message you. I was like, that's how you know Thunder Rosa got power. She said, you put me on 40 minutes into the show in the first hour, not the second hour.
Come on now. I mean, we do have a backstage promo with Lexi Nair and Private Party, but they just said they're running it back. So no shade. We moving on to the match of Thunder Rosa versus Queen Aminata.
You're just going to move on from Do-Rag Lexi?
Okay. The fact that Lexi was out, all right, guys, back to you. Peace. I was cackling.
Honestly, Lexi there and Renee Paquette, we were talking about this earlier too. So such good anchors because Lexi is kind of just like, I'm with it. Like, and Renee is over it. Lexi's with it, and Renee is just like, I hate this place, but not really.
I
I
know
don't
they
want to.
go through it. They go through it absolutely because, like, I know they have to be stressed. Because even later, when Lexi came back and was talking to Ortiz and Eddie, I was like, man, I know I'd be sweating if I had to talk to all
Yes.
these people, not knowing what was gonna happen, and then a do rag gets put on me. Like, come on.
Also, shout out to nobody guzzling water. This fucking the I tried to do that and I just made a mess, and I'll never do that again. And no, I'm not doing it on camera.
Leave it to the professionals.
If you want me to do it on camera, we're gonna need a small loan of $4,444 to this super chat directly, or you can send it to my bank account. I'm kidding. Our next match is Thunder Rosa versus Queen Aminata, and this truly was a match in thirds. I thought at first that this match was going real slow, and I was like, listen, it could be Thunder Rosa ring rust. It could be Aminata trying to figure each other out. But by the time they came back from that first picture, these two girls were slugging each other. They were beating the crap out of each other. That chop from Aminata from the beginning on Thunder Rosa was brutalis. This match was very, I don't want to say it was paint by numbers, but it was kind of like by the books. I'm not mad at it. It was a stiff, strong match. We get, and what I feel like is an abrupt ending with Thunder Rosa hitting a Tijuana bomb to the side on Queen Aminata. And I'm just wondering if that was, let's just get out of here. Because I felt like that match had like another 5-7 minutes. I felt like it could breathe a little bit more. So I was a little confused. Iridian, did you feel the same way about the finish? What did you think about the match overall?
Yeah, I agree with you that for me, it started off a little slow. I feel like anytime I watch Thunder Rosa, and I don't know if you guys will be able to like feel, or if you feel the same way, that I feel like she wrestles heavy in terms
stiff.
She's strong. I feel like I know she goes to the gym and she just lifts weights, right?
Yeah.
So it was a little slow for me, but right after that picture, I'm like, okay, they got it. They're in the zone. And she had Thunder Rosa had a Tijuana bomb, which was great. I don't think I've seen it before, or if I have, I haven't paid attention. But both women were quick, and I think Thunder Rosa really sees opportunity in everything. There's some moments where she went for the pinfall, and I was like, oh my god, like yeah, I wouldn't have thought to go in that moment for that. So yeah, I think Queen, how do you pronounce it?
Aminata. That's how they were pronouncing it.
Queen Aminata, she looked great in the ring, and man, her presentation is so good. I'm expecting big things from her in this company.
Phil, what did you feel about Queen Aminata giving the stiff right on back to Thunder Rosa this match?
She always works kind of stiff. Every time I watch her wrestle, I'm like, I would love to see her in Japan because she just works like that kind of style. And man, every time I've seen her over the last 2 weeks, I'm like, man, they gotta start giving her some wins, man. They gotta start moving her forward, man, because she's ready, man. She's so dynamic. She just looks different. She has a better presentation. She's just ready, man. I've been saying that for years, though. Like, I just think that she's special. There's nobody else out there that looks like Queen Aminata. There's nobody out there that looks like that and wrestles like that. They got something in her. I hope they realize that. But I thought this was a really good return match for Thunder Rosa. We haven't seen her do a whole bunch of one-on-one since she's been back. And you can see, like, some of the rust here because it did start slow. But I think once they got into the groove, it got better and better. But, yeah, I definitely caught as well. By the end of the match, she was just like, yeah, all champions are on notice. I'm like, that's right. Go get your belt that you never lost.
Come on now.
So, yeah, I kind of feel like they're going back to Thunder Rosa Tony. They kind of have to, don't they?
I agree with that because she never lost it. And I think that we want Thunder Rosa as champion. And like, for real, stop. You did it for Tony for real? And maybe not right this moment, but she deserves her run back. Absolutely.
You think she's going to beat Tony, though?
I think she could. I wouldn't do it right now. Toni Storm is just too hot. She's too hot right now. I wouldn't do it right now. That's like maybe we could talk about it midsummer. For real. We could talk about it midsummer. Tony too hot right now. Come on now. She can sell shoes right now. Just aerodynamic shoes, bro. Like
they gotta bring back the drums at the beginning of Thunder Rosa's theme song as well. I miss it. Like it's just like the thing that lets you know she's coming out. It's like her glass breaking.
That's true. That's
That's
true.
breaking.
We have a super chat from Prominence Flair. Thank you so much. That says, with Aminata signed and in the sky blue position, darn, I really hope she nails it. I think she would be a great TBS champion, IMO. I agree with that. Amazing work recently. I agree with that. I also agree with Phil that she does need some wins. I would love to see her versus Abaddon. I think her and Abaddon would absolutely tear it up. I think that'd be fantastic. Maybe Aminata versus Red Velvet.
Trisha Dora.
Yeah.
But I see my problem with Trisha Dora and Queen Aminata is that for AEW eyes, it would kind of be seen on the same level, and I don't want either one of them to lose to either one of them. You know what I mean? Like, I think they would both need a good win because they're both really, really good, and people will just like, "Oh, they're the same person." No, they're not. Like, stop it.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know what the Supercard Diviner match is, but I kind of want it to be Queen Aminata versus Athena. I don't know who Athena's opponent is, but I would kind of really like it for be Aminata.
I wouldn't hate that either. Next, we get a backstage interview with Lexi Nair and Ortiz, Eddie Kingston. Ortiz cuts a cute little promo. I respect Ortiz trying to do something. He's like, sometimes family fights, and you guys may be a well-oiled machine, but you're not family. And all I could hear is, it's about family, and the Fast and Furious music starts playing or something. Like, it's all about family. But in true Eddie Kingston fashion, with the same way he does the intro to Saturday, he's like, I don't care. Are we done? I want to fight him. I hate Claudio Caz. I hate his breath. I hate the way he breathes. I hate his house. I hate his eyeballs. I hate his eyelashes. Like, he's like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Do you guys have any thoughts on this segment?
Man, I literally was like, they are best friends. Like, Claudio and Eddie Kingston, they're the same person. And maybe that's why they don't get along, right? Because the mannerisms were the same, the way that they acted. And they were like, no, like, what are we doing here? Stop talking to me about him. Like, let's go do something. Let's go fight. And Eddie Kingston, when he just starts like, all right, guys, what are we doing? Saturday, Rocket Man. Like, come on. Literally, he's hilarious. He is hilarious. I love it.
Phil?
I feel bad for Ortiz, man. Because I feel like, well, let me explain why. I feel bad for Ortiz because I feel like they had something good going with that Santana match. And they were having the good promos. It led to the match, and then it went nowhere. And I'm like, all right, so you're not going to put them back together as a tag team. You're not going to really flesh out that story anymore. And now he's just back with Eddie. And I was just like, come on, man. And I thought he did good in this segment. I thought Eddie did the usual Eddie stick and all of it was fun. But the whole time I was sitting there thinking like, man, what are you guys doing with Ortiz, man? Like, kid be doing so much more with this guy.
Yeah. I agree with that. We got another Humper chat here from Van Twinblade saying, the best Chicago Phil in the Collision review? Gang bang, scissor gang for life.
Gang. Y'all banging?
We
out here floss flagging, man.
I think there's a missed opportunity to be the ass bang scissor gang.
Whoa. Hold on.
It was a missed opportunity. Don't listen to me, y'all. Sometimes Cresta just be saying stuff. We have a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Dex Baker, for your generosity, saying, I'm currently sitting in the arena watching ROH. Main takeaways from my experience. The kids love Daniel Garcia and Eddie Kingston, and the Bang Bang Scissor Gang is HOT. Hot. What do we think about the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, Iridian?
Okay, I didn't think that this was going to happen. I really thought that Jay White was going to talk to the Guns and be like, all right, guys, no, like, we got to wait for Juice. We can't make this decision without him. Like, what's going on? And immediately when they scissored, I was like, there's no way that this just happened. I was confused. I was a little worried because I'm like, all right, this could be great or this could go terribly wrong, right? But I am excited because I know the merch is going to go crazy.
Oh, you already know. You already know.
I know the merch is going to be wild. They were already cheering what is it, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, or whatever it is. And then I know that we wanted the chant to be Scissor Me Bang Bang Gang. So there's just so many ways that this can go. I am so ready for it, but I didn't think it was going to happen tonight. I thought they would have, stretched this out a little bit more, given a little deeper story, but I guess they don't really need it, right? Because, it's Billy Gunn and then his kids.
True. Phil, Daniel Garcia, the youth, them love it, and Eddie Kingston. What do you think about the youth loving Eddie Kingston, who's king of the bums, and Daniel Garcia, who now, for all intents and purposes, we'll get to this later, has pinned every member of House of Black?
I think the new Tron for Daniel is crazy. It's just psychedelic, whatever it is of him like doing the dance in like Technicolor. It's wild. Man, Daniel's another one, man. I feel like you guys he's starting to get the wins after Continental Classic. Gotta put some gold on that guy, man. He's so good. And I think he's getting it together with the character stuff. He's so good. I get it. And I also get what's not to like about Eddie Kingston. He's the ultimate underdog. He comes out and he just says what's on his mind. He's perfect, man. And I think like the last year, you can make a strong argument that he was like one of the best wrestlers of 2023. He had an amazing 2023 from the G1 to the Continental Classic. He had a great year. I don't believe Jay White, by the way. I do not believe that he is going to stay in this group. I think that he is playing these guys. He's going to turn on them as soon as he gets a chance.
Low key, high key, I low key feel that way too.
Yeah. We've seen him do this too many times.
Yeah.
We've seen him do this with Chaos. He went and joined Chaos. The only reason he did it is so he can hang around and then leave and join Bullet Club. He took the shirt from Kenny and then he proceeded to hit him with a Blade Runner. No. I don't trust this guy. He's not gonna stay. He's not gonna stay with them, man. He's gonna turn on him.
I want to round out these next two super chats from Amish Electrician. What a funny name. Thank you so much. Fightful roulette today. Double Cresta and double your Phil. Double your pleasure, double your fun. And he also sent us another super chat saying, Nick Wayne on the... Yo, my dyslexia is on one today. Nick Wayne stewed on the open. A post-match beatdown with the patriarchy brings out Hook, who will challenge each member and eventually beat Christian. Okay, so we're going to say, first of all, we love Phil over here. And then second of all, we're going to say, I'm not mad at that idea. Phil, since you got the first super chat, what do you think about this one? What do you think about Hook challenging each member of the patriarchy, eventually beating that dastardly turtleneck Christian?
I really like the idea of him beating him and becoming TNT champion. There's just too many notes there that make sense. I mean, this guy has spent this entire run making fun of people whose parent is dead, and like the work dad that's there is Taz. It writes itself.
Iridian, what do you think about that? Hook possibly choking out Christian, or Christian getting double choked out by Hook and Taz. We love a father-son bonding moment.
You know what? They would be iconic if they really got together and were a father and son duo. But I don't know, man. I think it's a possibility. I wouldn't count Hook out because I think he's about to have a crazy 2024. I think it's going to be his year. But I would like to see it. I think that'd be fun.
I wouldn't be mad. Can you imagine a visual where Taz is choking you out and Hook got you like in an ankle lock or something like that? Are you...
Could you imagine Christian just like being choked out by Hook and then like his arms are like flailing, he's asking for help, like Luchasaurus is like being,
Kill Switch. His name is Kill Switch.
Kill Switch.
I'm not calling him that.
He's just so much better Luchasaurus. Like, oh my God. He's lost. He's lost in his ways currently. But he'll be back to Luchasaurus, I believe, by the summer.
He's a dinosaur. His head is tiny. He's very easy to trick him, okay? It's not his fault. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the part of the show where I know you guys are really here for. We have the Ring of Honor 6-man championships, Bullet Club Gold champions, Bullet Club Gold in-ring promo with the Acclaim, and the Bang Bang Scissor Gang was formed on this day. We had the crowd. First of all, we got to give a shout out to them saying, where's Juice? Because even the crowd was like, this is crazy. How are you going to celebrate without Juice? And Card Blade's switchboard was retired. And what they say? Cardboard Juice juice box has been now formed. So we are now getting free merch. This is free merch right here. And now we've got the Acclaim. I think that Ass Bang Scissor Gang is a missed opportunity. But how do you guys feel about this super group? I'm going to give the floor to Iridian first. I want to hear, because I know you love the Acclaimed, and I know you are recently like, damn, the Ass Boys got me, gal.
Yeah, so I was not part of a fan of the Guns, and they've kind of grown on me being in Bullet Club, and I'm like, man. And now with the Acclaimed, who I absolutely love, I think they're fantastic. This supergroup it's probably going to be unstoppable because the audience is for it. The fans are going to eat this up. They played me for like 5 seconds because I thought Juice Robinson was going to come out. I was like, oh, is he better? What's happening? What are we doing here? And then they brought out the cardboard version, which I'm like, man, do they know how to work with merch? Because these little mini cardboards are $40.
And then you're buying two because you need one for the show and one to keep in pristine position.
Exactly. And now you need to get a Jay White one and you need to get a Juice one. So I can only imagine.
Friends are for.
Exactly. It's going to be a 2-for-1 sale. Already know for 4th of July, that's what they're going to do. But yeah, I didn't think this super group was going to be formed, but it's going to be insane. I know we're going to be talking about this every week, how crazy it's going to get. And also Nigel, when they were, the Guns were talking about like, oh, it's great to be here. And then, Nigel was like, oh my God, that's so great. That's an original line. I can't believe that they said that. And it's like, come on, guys. Come on.
Yo,
we know.
Nigel is a menace to society, just like Stokely Hathaway is.
Nigel's wild, man.
Phil, what do you think about this? Are you here for the Bang Bang Scissor Gang? Jay, you got your gun scissors up. What's even?
The finger movements? It's gonna be wild.
My arthritis? You don't think I'm throwing up crypt?
I love the idea that Jay White not being there a year is now mixed up in this comedy act. And anybody that's skeptical about Okada coming there, they can immediately go, see, Okada don't come there. See how they're booking this guy? Again, I don't think he's going to stay in this faction. I think he's going to turn on them. You can see the signs of it. I think they're merging those belts too, because you don't need 2 sets of trios belts. Like, why do you need 2 sets of trios belts?
There's a million belts on that show. I'm not going to hold you. Between ROH and AEW, everyone should have a title at this point.
If they're not merging those belts, they should, because you don't need 2 sets of trios belts.
But they did say, now that the Bullet Club Gold is the ROH champs or whatever, they are going to be defending them in Ring of Honor. So if we can move towards that way, I think that'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way it should be. I hated that was the way when Max and Cole were champions, that they were never on ROH television. So good. And I think Jay White would be a guy that's like, yeah, of course, I want to do ROH. But yeah, I don't think they're long for those belts. And I don't think they're long for the stable, man. I don't think they're gonna stay with the stable. I think they're gonna turn in the Acclaimed as soon as they get a chance.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily hate it. You know what I mean? That's not bad, because I do think that there is a potential, especially with House of Black being DK scary, but kind of like the same problem with Dark Order, where you gotta win something to be scary. You know what I mean? Like that's just the facts. You got the great presentation, but if you ain't winning nothing, just spooky and scary. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I would love to see them do something, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like I don't want them to merge the belts, because I think Ring of Honor needs to have its own thing. If you can do it with Athena, where your Athena's her own standalone champion, you could do that with Ring of Honor. But I think that'll come in time with the deal eventually on TV, having them with a bigger presentation on a bigger stage.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
I don't hate the Ass Bang Scissor Gang. And if you don't hate the Ass Bang Scissor Gang, I got something for you.
Hello. Do you have a limp penis? A difficulty getting it erect? Boy, do I have a product for you. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL will help fix that. Blue Chew has the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. But they work a lot faster because it's a chewable. It's also much more affordable. Use that promo code FIGHTFUL. Get your first shipment free. Just pay $5 shipping. One of the best parts, it's discreet. No awkward in-person doctor's visits. You don't have to go to the pharmacy. It's shipped straight to your door when approved by an online physician. You want to check this out. It will help you. It is a good product. It will make your sex life better. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL.
Rock hard, Juice Robinson. Get rock hard with Blue Chew.
Wink.
We had a backstage promo after that with Tony Storm. It was a video package on Deonna Purrazzo. And Tony Storm is proving that 2024 is being Delulu is the Salulu, baby. Maybe not on the same planet. She was like, I know who you are. First of all, she pronounced her name correctly. Deonna Purrazzo instead of Deonna Palazzo, which hilarious. She's like, I remember you. She also said, yeah, I know. I was always envious of your technical prowess, but I have this sexuality. I'm like, what is happening here?
It was weird, right? And then she was like, she's like, I'm gonna eat you. And I was like, where is this going?
I thought she was reciting the lyrics to the 90s 9 Inch Nails song, I want to F you like an animal. Closer. I was like, what are you talking about? I want to eat you. And I'm gonna lick you. I'm gonna flip it and reverse it. It's your flipping. Phil, what did you think of this video package?
This is the same thing they showed on Dynamite, and both times I watched it, I laughed that Mariah tried to start talking, and then she shushed her and put her hand on her face, and while she was talking, she still kept her hand on her face the entire time. Hilarious. I'm just like, just everything she does, the mannerisms, what she's saying is funny. It's just, again, I don't see her losing anytime soon. She's just too hot.
She's too good.
And you can just use her for too many things. She's always great on commentary. This week when she kept trying to call Ian Riccaboni, Shivani, he's like, man, you look so much better. Like, what happened to you? And she was like feeding them like cookies. It was great.
There were macarons.
She's so funny. She's something else. And sometimes I'm like, is this too much? I know it's not. I think she can still do a little bit more. She could still do a little more. Yeah. I do like the addition of Mariah because, like she's going to turn on her eventually. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. But also I noticed in the promo tonight, I'm like, is Luther a little jealous that Mariah is now also trying to get in the picture? Cause she was walking with her and he's kind of like giving her like a dirty look. So I don't know if that's going to be a part of the storyline, but also this is just so good. She's just doing such great work. And man, she's killing it and throwing the shoes. So tits out, guys.
It's free merch. Like, honestly, if you want to make women's merch, I would buy some Tony Storm shoes, some Tony Storm chanclas. Are you kidding me? No, with the little feathers that are aerodynamic. You can hit your kids from the next room.
Come on, man.
Oh, man, I love Tony Storm. This is honestly the greatest thing. Next, we had Buddy Matthews versus Daniel Garcia. Now, Buddy Matthews came out with House of Black, and as soon as everyone made their intro, and Daniel Garcia got down, next thing you know, he started hitting that retro. Dun, 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 dun. Here come FTR coming down to the ring, which I'm not mad about because I want us to go back to that. Daniel Garcia, you are a wrestler. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're a professional wrestler. You're not a sports entertainer, and FTR is the perfect group to follow that up on. They evened up the odds. So before this match, at this point, Daniel Garcia had wins over Brody King and Malachi Black in House of Black. The only person he hadn't pinned was Buddy Matthews. Spoiler alert, he pins Buddy Matthews. I think he's the only person in AEW to pin every member of House of Black. So I'm like, come on, Garcia. I do like that FTR was out there motivating Garcia. There was a huge knee on Garcia to the outside, which Garcia ends up reversing or like turning it into a pile driver on Matthews on the apron, which is the hardest part of the ring, if you believe the reports. I love this for Daniel Garcia, really getting in all that offense. And also the 10 count was really crazy as well, because they really could have, it should have been 10. It was 10. But I give it up to the ref for using the ref's discretion. Also, got to give the shout outs to that sharpshooter that Garcia got on Matthews. That was in deep, so deep that once again, this happened to Garcia before that he was able to slam his head down. Like, bro, you going back too far. There's a reason why Bret Hart didn't go back that far. What are you doing? The match finishes with like a surprise. I want to say like a surprise roll up, but it was almost like a reversal. I don't even know how to describe it because it happened, and then Daniel Garcia's music hit, and then there was a brawl. So before we get into the brawl, Iridian, what did you think of the match? Garcia pinning every member of House of Black.
I was shook. Okay, I didn't expect Danny to pick up this win. I gasped. It was, I guess for me, it happened like so quick in that like roll up. But I love that every match that we see with Danny Garcia, you know that this guy's a professional wrestler, right? And you know Jericho for so long, when he was with them, like, no, guys, we're sports entertainers, right? But this was just so good, and I feel like after you watch a couple of Danny Garcia matches, like there's no way that you can't take him seriously, right? Like you know that this guy can kick ass. So it was just incredible. And when Buddy Matthews started bleeding, I was like, oh my God, because it wasn't just a regular thing. It was like right above his nose. So I'm like, I hope it's okay. I don't know if it's like a broken nose or anything, but that was crazy that happened. And Buddy had some vicious knees tonight. I mean, they're usually vicious, but tonight he wasn't holding back. And I was a little scared for Danny, but this match was so good. This was probably one of my favorite match of the night. And that's including the main event on the card. Like, I think this was the match to look out for, especially with everything that happened afterwards, which we'll talk about right now, but it's great.
Phil, what did you think about the match overall before we get into the post-match brawl?
I thought it was a really good match. Probably second best match on this card. Buddy was holding that A button, snapping those knees on people. He hit like 3 of them in this match where I'm just like, where does he keep coming from with this sudden knee out of nowhere? He caught Daniel out of midair with one on the outside, but like towards the end of the match, he hit him with one, and I was like, oh, that's got to be it. That's the end of this match, right? See you later, Daniel. Apparently not. I also like the idea that Garcia's been hanging around with those other 2 Bret Hart marks long enough that now he's doing all the Bret Hart spots, and I think it's great booking. I think it's hilarious. But yeah, I think all of the storytelling from the Continental Classic of Garcia going from coming in being the JAS guy that just does the sports entertainment stuff and being kind of conflicted throughout the tournament of, hey man, maybe I should just go back to being a pro wrestler and I'll get some wins. And I think by the end of the tournament, he was just like, no, just do a mix of both, just find balance. And ever since then, he's gotten it right on the nose. He's just being himself, and it's working.
I agree with that. No, I think that he's finding his own way, that there is a mix between, you can absolutely have this as long as you have this in the ring.
At the same time.
yeah, at the same time. He's absolutely proving it, because you can't just be anybody and beat House of Black. You know what I mean? That's like Malachi Black on his own is a final boss. And so is Buddy Matthews. And so is Brody King. These are all final boss guys. So after the match, we have a pull apart brawl where everybody named Mama come out. The Righteous is there for some reason. I don't understand. They got a million referees, and we go right into a backstage interview with Lexi Nair and FTR, who they announced. First of all, Dax is confused. He's like, I don't know if I'm in Boise, Idaho. I don't know if I'm in Louisiana, but we gonna fight next week, and it's gonna be a steel cage elimination match with me, you, and Daniel Garcia versus House of Black. And for a split second, I thought Daniel Garcia's face was like, how the hell? I didn't agree to that. I just beat all of these guys. What the hell? But he's like, all right, I'm with it. I will say that I love Daniel Garcia in this position. I think that especially if you take in his World's End post-match scrum where he was like, I want them to know that they can trust me with the ball, that I'm that guy that you can trust. If you don't respect me now, then you don't have eyes. You know what I mean? Like, this is very much a hook situation. Even if we go back to Wheeler Yuta, because Wheeler Yuta was in the same position where you guys are going to take me seriously. I'm not just a little punk kid. I may be getting beat up by Claudio Castagnoli every week, and it looks weird, but you can't beat me up.
Yep.
Like, you can't do that. Reg, what did you think about the post-match with the brawl going into this elimination in in a cage. Because I don't know about all of that. With Garcia just got here. Excuse me?
Listen, man, I've been saying the most consistent characters on Collision since day one have been FDR. So it makes sense that all of like the big storylines, all the big matches are still with FDR. And so I think getting to this cage match with them and House of Black, I think it's a perfect culmination of everything that's been going on Collision. And then adding Garcia to it adds even more to it. I think it's going to be great. I think everything in this match was great. I thought the pull apart was hot. Looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fire match.
Iridian, what did you think about the pull apart match, this cage match going into it? And does House of Black need to win here, or do you give it to Daniel Garcia, who's been hot and pinned every member of House of Black?
That's interesting. I feel like you might give it to FTR and to Danny, right? Because this would be technically like the final is for him to technically beat all of them at once. But I am with you on the fact that he did look a little confused, like, whoa, what's happening? And the camera did zoom
How
into
I get dragged into this?
He was a little taken back. So yeah, he probably had no idea. But I love a good brawl where everyone comes out and like, oh my God, the locker room. I was like, WWE, oh my God.
Wow, God.
And then I'm like, all right, so who's here? Like, I saw the Righteous Flower Power there. And then I'm like, okay, is that Anthony Henry? And then I'm like, okay, the Workhorsemen are here. Like, it's so fun to see. And I was like, oh, Gringo Loco too. Like, it was fun. And I like moments like that. So I think that really made tonight different, a little bit more exciting, because the audience gets so invested in when things like this happen, because they're like, oh my God, who else is going to come out? Like, and then FTR is doing the promo with some random shoe. Whose shoe was that? I was very cute. I was like, sir, you're holding up a shoe. Where did you get it? It's not yours. I know it's not yours.
I don't ask questions when Dax be doing stuff, because Dax just be doing stuff. I don't mean that in the utmost respect, but Dax be doing stuff. And
put the shoe down, sir. Put it down.
He got it from Tony's store. The next after that got Matt Sydal versus Roderick Strong with Matt Taven and Mike Kanellis. Now, Matt Sydal, let's start with the pros of this match. Matt Sydal got an intro this week.
Yes.
He got a lot of offense in this week. And the commentary really put over that he was from St. Louis and he put St. Louis wrestling on the map.
Period.
That being said, I felt like the majority of this match was in picture-in-picture. And then when we did come back from picture-in-picture, that man was cooking like a stir fry and the match was over. So, Iridian, I don't know if you have notes. The only note I have is that Sydal did a beautiful Meteora on Strong. And, we got the end of Heartbreak. He literally flips this man and then hits him with the backbreak and then pins him. What are your thoughts on this, Iridian?
I'm so sorry, Matt Sydal. I feel like he never recovered from that time that he slipped on the ring apron from the top rope. I don't think he recovered from that. And
not the tightest worldwide.
Look at I have 0 notes for this. I wrote Undisputed Kingdom, Roddy Strong versus Matt Sydal, and I have nothing there. Like, I don't know if it was because I wasn't interested in the match. I maybe because Adam Cole's not in the Undisputed Kingdom, and like, no shade to the Undisputed Kingdom right now or Roddy. I'm just not feeling it. So this match was not. I'm probably not going to remember it next week, honestly. And I feel so bad to say that, because I know Matt Sydal is fantastic, and I know Roddy could be cooking, but I don't know. There's just something off about this match. I don't know. What about you, Phil? How'd you feel?
It was a kind of a filler match. It was just basically like kind of a in between the Garcia and Bud Matt match and the main event. It's really just a way for Roddy to get some wins leading up to his feud with Orange Cassidy, and I'm fine with it.
Which brings back the rankings conversation that we were having. Like, you need to start picking up wins.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. It felt like this was just like, you knew coming in the gate that Matt Sydal was losing this match, though. And I think that's maybe why you guys weren't that into it. But, man, I have to say that I am super excited about singles Roddy wrestling again and not yelling at us every week. Like, cool.
I missed that.
No, stop.
He could have yelled like Adam, or He could have yelled Mets. I don't know.
Look, man, get back to what I know Roddy can do, and that's the grabs, breaking people's backs, kneeing them in their face super hard. That's what I want to see this guy do, man. All of that yelling stuff, that's just.
I will say it helped that Roderick Strong has a punchable face. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold you. So him yelling, "Anna!" I kind of missed that.
Yeah, man,
I'd be a liar if I didn't say that.
He's got the state trooper mustache now. He still's got the punchable face. But nah, man, I'm ready for him to get back to this shit. Get back to breaking people's backs. Get back to hitting people with angle slams and snapping them in their face really, really hard with your knee.
You heard it first here. And this leads me right into my next super chat. We got this from Ricardo, name to be decided. $2. A wild Phil D appears watching on VOD. And Phil has spoken. He said he's tired of the wheelchair shenanigans. No more neck health. We want to see me strong.
Nah.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your super chats in. Get your humper chats in. We are at the main event. So if you have anything you want us to talk about, you want to get us in, come on. Give us those super chats, humper chats. Your support is always appreciated. Our main event is Bryan Danielson versus Give Me the Formuoli, Claudio Castagnoli versus Ortiz and Eddie Kingston. I think I said versus, but Bryan Danielson and Claudio are together. They're friends. They're BCC. They're homeboys. They're versus Ortiz and Eddie Kingston. My first note literally is I know Nigel mad hype for this match. Every week, Nigel talk crap. But tonight, for the main event, you're the clam digger himself, Mr. Danielson. And boy, did Nigel not disappoint. At one point, I just had to stop writing because I'm over like, yo, Nigel, do you care about this match or do you care about hating?
He don't care about the match. He just wants to see Bryan get beat up.
Like, you're a hater, bro. Like, and there are some haters in professional wrestling, but you, Nigel McGuinness, you are going for Player Hater of the Year, and 2024 just started, bro. This match started off with Eddie chants. Nigel calling Eddie Kingston King of the Bums off rip, like, yo, bro, he didn't even do that. And it was Bryan Danielson hamming it up to the crowd because Danielson really feels like Eddie Kingston is beneath him. I thought Danielson was dragging it by refusing to fight. We finally get them into a engaged fisticuffs. Ortiz got beat up most of this match. That's just tea. I love Ortiz, and he was selling like he was really getting beat up. When we finally get Claudio Castagnoli in, he's again beating up Ortiz. We get the Eddie hot tag. I'm sorry. My next note is not these bum ass rankings coming back.
We bike, man. Come on. Rankings are bike.
Listen, if it means something, I will eat crow. I'm not above it. But if it don't mean something, I'm coming on here like Birdman. Like, yeah, these rankings don't mean shit.
Already means something, man. Come on.
Listen, I love being wrong, especially if it's to my benefit. Prove me wrong, Tony, that I was one of those people who
It's a lie. Nobody likes being wrong.
If you told me, Cresta, my bad, and I was like, I thought you were gonna pay me 19, and you said I'm gonna pay you 24. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I was wrong. I'm not mad. I love being wrong to my benefit. I love being wrong to my benefit. Anyway, we get the machine gun chops from Eddie. Unfortunately, Eddie takes a yam bag city after trying to break up the Ortiz label lock, which Ortiz got out of on his own by putting his feet on the ropes. The finish comes with Eddie Kingston stomps out, makes Eddie watch Ortiz get stomped out from Danielson, and then hits a psycho knee, and Eddie is pissed. And it's so heartbreaking because you hear Ortiz or a commentary put over saying, I'm sorry. Like, that's not your fault. This man got taken to Yambag City. Phil, I gotta ask you, because I feel like this match was right up your alley. How did you feel about this match before we get into what comes next for Eddie Kingston holding all three of these titles?
I love this. I thought the tag match was fantastic. If Collision's going to do anything well, they're going to throw a random tag match at you that's going to slap out of nowhere. And this match was fantastic. Of course, on commentary, as always, Nigel being great. Calling Bryan, crying Bryan the entire night. It's hilarious. And Bryan being incredibly petty the entire time, doing the calisthenics on Eddie, going back to his original heel stuff of like hamming it up, starting the "he's a bum" chant. All of that stuff was great. Poor Ortiz getting the beating of a lifetime just for being friends with this guy that those other two guys really, really hate. Claudio opening the match by not even standing up there waiting for the tag, sitting on the apron with his back to Eddie the entire time.
Bro,
Like,
he was so mad.
it's so, all of it was so great. They were both being extremely dramatic, and I loved it. I thought the finish was really, really good. At one point, Bryan yells in Ortiz's face, "That's your friend? That's who you want to be friend with?" And then proceeds to hit him really hard with a yes kick. Yeah, I was just like, poor Ortiz, man. He didn't do anything wrong.
Ortiz did not deserve the beating he got, literally just for being friends with Eddie Kingston. And y'all too salty that Eddie Kingston beat the both of y'all. Iridian. How would you feel if you out here defending your friend and you get beat up because your friend beat up these two guys?
I mean, you're automatically guilty by association, right? So you better step up. And I'm so sorry, Ortiz. You had to step up tonight, and it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to him. But I know he's gonna feel it tomorrow. Okay.
Not that it wasn't fair.
It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair. Poor him. But you know what? I want to go back to something, you talked about Nigel. I know all night long he was just weak in the knees, ready for this match. I know
he had a half mask the whole time.
We were tapping. I know he was just anxious for this match to start so he can start spitting on Bryan Danielson. But man, I think this was a good match. It's Eddie is just so fantastic to watch in the ring. I feel like he gets like these bursts of energy out of nowhere that you're like, oh my God, like it's so good. I hope that what's next for Eddie is Chicago seeing him at Windy City Riot. I'll be there. So Eddie, I hope you showing up because I will be there for you, sir.
And so my question to both of you guys now is, because after this match, Danielson was saying into the camera, you can't hold on to all of these belts forever, Eddie. What are you going to do? So Eddie is, he's your Continental Classic Triple Crown champion. He's your Ring of Honor champion. And he's your New Japan, is it never open weight champion or?
Strong champion.
New Japan strong champion. So what happens now? That's my question to both of you and whoever want to tackle it first. What happens now with Eddie? Because technically this is your first loss, even though it is a tag and Ortiz took it. What do we do now?
That's tough.
It's tough because I Bryan has a point, man. You've got 3 belts. That means you've got to defend all of those belts. We saw how that looked at Battle in the Valley, where Gabe Kidd proceeded to beat you down after that match and pick up the Continental Classic belt. He wants his shot at that belt. And yeah, I could see Claudio feeling like, hey, man, you're holding on to a belt that belongs to me. You beat me for that belt. Yeah, the more belts you have, the more targets are on your back. And I feel like that was the point made here.
I'm interested to see how this Continental like Classic belt will be because they said that they're going to bring it back this year. So does that mean if Eddie is still the champ that he gets automatically placed into this tournament and the title's on the line again, or are we stripping it from whatever the champion is and then giving it, putting it again in this tournament? I don't know how that's going to be defended, but it's going to be tough for Eddie to keep all of these 3 championships, right? Because whether he's defending them all at once or, one night he can defend one on Dynamite and then he can go on the weekend and defend a New Japan one. And then it's just, I feel like this is not going to end well.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. I feel like at some point the issue becomes, I think they did this, they talked about this with Orange Cassidy. At what point do you keep defending this breakneck pace? Because you can't just defend here. You got to defend New Japan. And you can't just defend here in New Japan because you also got to defend Ring of Honor. So you got to wrestle on Ring of Honor at some point. Reg talks about this all the time. Like, it's crazy that the only Ring of Honor championship defended on Ring of Honor seems to be Athena, who's your Ring of Honor women's champion, but she seems to be the only one who's on Ring of Honor. Exactly. So at that point, it's like, what are we going to do here? And then I don't know. Because I think Eddie's a great forever champion. I've made the comparison to him and Mick Foley, Mankind, many a times, that he has such that underdog presence that you want him to win. Like, you can't help but root for Eddie Kingston. And it's like, anytime someone call Eddie fat, I'd be like, yo, don't talk about my uncle like that. Like, I'll beat you up. Like, you want to root for Eddie Kingston, but I don't know. At some point, and whoever does it, that people are either going to hate, they're going to hate that person. They're going to hate that. It doesn't matter what championship it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guys, we got one more super chat to end out the night. Thank you, the Amish Electrics. Wrestling aside, let's show love for Palestine. Free my homies in Palestine. That ain't right. I'm going to go ahead and end the show here because I think that's a great way to end. Phil, where can the ladies and gentlemen find you? Thank you for doing the run-in, by the way, coming in here. Bullying works. Bully your friends. I'm sorry. Don't bully your friends. Don't do that. Phil, where can they find you?
You can find me on Saturdays at noon Eastern on this YouTube channel, hosting Grapsody with Righteous Reg every Saturday. And you can find my writing at Bleacher Report.
Period. Iridian, where can the boys and girls find you?
Well, you guys can head over to YouTube and go to Rest Friends. That's WREST Friends, and listen to the podcast. And you can find all of my interviews there. I have really good one with Britt Baker and then Mike and Maria Kanellis Bennett. So they were great. And every Saturday night, you can find me here post Collision with the beautiful Cresta Star and Riccacino, or sometimes a wonderful, wonderful guest, just like Phil tonight. So every Saturday night after the post show, for here we are on Fightful.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Cresta Star. You can find me over on Twitter at Cresta the Star, like Megan the Stallion. There's a link tree in my bio where you can find where I am all the time. Because Thursdays, I'm here with Joel Pearl over on Fightful, covering all things TNA. And on Saturdays, I'm here mainly with Iridian. And sometimes you find me on Grapsody. I pull up if I'm up. You know, that's what I do. Every Wednesday, you can find me over on twitch.tv or tiktok.com/@CrestaStar, both Cresta Star, where we watch AEW Dynamite together. As always, ladies, subscribe. And gentlemen, sorry, we don't want to leave out the fellers. Subscribe to Fightful Select.
Got the best news out of this before you cut out. Tony P, Packers lost. Yes, sir. Get those Chiefs the fuck up out of
here. Amazing.
I know nothing about sports, so if Phil's excited, heck the Packers. You know, we out of here, ladies and gentlemen.
Man.
Subscribe to Fightful Select. Even that's $5 in the business, $54 a year. I'm Cresta Star. That was Phil. This is Iridian. That was your Collision post show. So zip it up and zip it out. See you in hell, guys. Bye for now. Bye.